He's more handsome than all three of us combined.
I know
okay?
he'll be more handsome than all three of us when he's 78. All right, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I just hadn't seen him for a while. I'm like, oh man. I always think of him as looking, like 21 Jump Street. I'm like, it's been a decade since that. The guy's getting old.
Hey, he was in the Hateful Eight.
And he has
whatever.
moves. You saw him doing the little flips and stuff. Come on now.
He's trying to be Gambit.
You guys trying to put me on trial here? I think he's hot. All right, is that what you want me to say? Channing Tatum is hot.
Yes.
All right, but he's getting older.
Thank you.
And that's a reality that we all need to accept. Okay.
Your best friends, Trey Sterling and Matt, the film Schmucks.
You want me to do an intro and then we can go around?
You're really good. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
I can try it. I'll try it.
It's been so long.
It's been so long I don't know if I can get it up. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Film Schmucks here. I know you guys are thinking, how come you just didn't make videos for 2 months and all of a sudden you come back and make a video as if nothing happened? I thought I could get it by y'all. It didn't work. I'm sorry. But we're here, and we're ready to do it. And for once, the video that we said we were going to review for the next episode, we actually are. Trey mentioned Free Guy, and we actually are reviewing Free Guy. I just saw it in the theaters no less than 3 hours ago. So should we jump right into it, boys? You want to do first impressions right off the bat?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's go. I mean, okay, I'll go. I did have some high expectations for this movie because it's Ryan Reynolds. I like most of the stuff he does, even some of the bad stuff people don't like. But my goodness, did this movie blow it out of the park? I mean, I absolutely love this movie. Like I told you guys before, I really wanted to go see this a second time before we did this. Didn't have time. That's okay. I might go do it this week. Go see it again, but. Man, what a fun movie!
I'll go. I can go next. I didn't have low or high expectations. The movie was sort of what I expected, and I was a little bit like, I don't know. Like the trailer gave me a little mix. I'll say this: about 30 minutes in the movie, I was like, I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I don't know what's going on. By the end of the movie, I ended up getting kind of sucked into it, and I actually did like it a lot by the end. I thought it was very enjoyable. I have plenty of nitpicks to come up, but I have a lot of nitpicks. Christy even made me swear that I would mention one of her nitpicks that bothered her a lot. So, but overall, it was... I think my expectations were, if anything, maybe a little low. And so I think the story was what got me, because I didn't know what the story was going to be. And I only watched the one trailer, the first trailer, and we know it's a guy in a video of NPC wearing glasses. But I'm like, where does this go? How do you make a cohesive storyline out of this? I thought I was surprised that they actually did a pretty good job. So the story I thought was better than I thought, and then that paved the way, and there's some great moments in it. So, Sterling?
Yeah, I think overall it was a solid movie with some really good moments. And honestly, some of the more touching moments did kind of have an impact on me a little bit. Not like it wasn't like great, but it definitely was kind of sweet. And for a film like this, that's all I want. And so kind of a lot of my thoughts echo last week's review for me, where it's just a super enjoyable movie. And man, there are some moments, there's some cameos in this movie that I really,
oh yeah,
and we'll get into that. But man, and one in particular, I laughed my ass off. So,
Well, okay, let's get into it. There's one you probably maybe did not notice. The first cameo of the movie, I believe, you didn't see his face. It was just his voice. It was in the alley.
Yeah, I was wondering who that was.
Hugh Jackman. And I'm like,
was
dang
it really?
I believe it was. I mean, I didn't look it up. I'm pretty confident.
The voice sounded familiar to me, but I didn't know it. I actually thought, speaking of Hugh Jackman, and if we're getting into the cameos, I don't know why, but when they put the dude into the game, I really, for some reason, thought it was going to be Hugh Jackman because I thought that would have been hilarious. But the result was actually still really funny. But I thought that because I did not expect it to be, the dude. Before we get any deeper, because we haven't said any spoilers really, it's pretty vague.
Yeah.
We will get into spoilers in this review. But maybe before we get into like straight up story ending spoilers, I was thinking we could start doing this more because we're usually pretty bad about it. But maybe we can kind of start off not getting as spoilery, and then when we get to the point where it's like let's just go all spoils.
Okay.
What did you guys think of what were you thinking they were gonna do with I didn't expect them because the trailers, at least the one trailer I saw, didn't show any real world stuff. So I was actually surprised. That's what I meant by I was kind of pleasantly surprised in a way. Because I was like, how are they going to tell the story? What's going on? And when it actually had real people, like in real life, like working in an office and stuff, like in the building. And then it made more sense. I guess they did show Taika Waititi in the trailer. But let me ask you this, and you may hate it. The way they did it where it's real life, or not real life, live action when it's in the video game, and it's live action in real life. But in real life, when they look at the video game, it's a video game. And I'm like, I think this movie works well that way, but it makes me think there was something about Ready Player One where the fact that it actually was CG in the game worked a little bit because you weren't ever, not that you're confused. And Free Guy. That's why I think it's fine. I don't think I ever got confused. Yeah. Is this real life? But it was a little bit like, I guess we just have to suspend our disbelief and go, it's just live action when they're showing the game. It's not.
It's a little jarring, I would say. Initially, it was kind of jarring because just having two different aesthetics, the video game aesthetic and the real life aesthetic, they did kind of clash a little bit. But it didn't detract me that much from the experience.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'll be vague here. Kind of like you said the first 30 minutes you didn't know where they were going. I was actually not impressed with the human side of it at the first 20 the first act. I was kind of annoyed when they cut away because it took a while to cut to the real world. I was like at first I kind of like what's going on? I don't care about this. Yeah. I want to follow the guy, and so I didn't like it. I didn't like the acting. I didn't like them. It was jarring, like Sterling said.
I actually,
for me, the first part.
I actually agree. I think the whole first there was a point. I think it was during one of the real life scenes in the first. It was when what it was. It was when they were showing the past, when it was showing Keys and Missy being interviewed by Entertainment Tonight or whatever.
Yes.
I was like, this is so odd and unnecessary that I literally I literally had a moment where I was like, I think I'm gonna end up really not liking this movie. This is really weird, and it didn't draw me in enough yet. So I was like, I don't know about this, man. But I'm saying I think it would have been really hard to tell the story if they didn't have some of the real world stuff and by the end of it, I thought it was well worth it.
They could have done it better.
And also,
like Sterling said, it was jarring. That's the exact scene for me where I'm like, Sim, like what? I literally looked over to the person next to me who I knew, obviously. I'm like kind of the look, like what's going on?
Funny if it was a stranger. Confused. You just look next to the guy next to you. There's some old guy with his family. I don't know.
Yeah, very confusing for me that scene, the interview part.
It's Chris Evans. Chris Evans is sitting next to you.
Yeah, I think in the moment it definitely didn't work, but by the end, I think the resolution, the payoff, if you will, I think actually did work.
I think so. I think what it is if you look at it on paper, even the stuff at the beginning was fine for setup. But there was something about, and I think especially that scene, I think they could have explained them working together on a game without, I think they were trying to do something interesting. Let's explain it as if it's an old interview. It'll explain everything we need to know. We can kind of see that hey, is there anything in between you guys? They were trying to set too much stuff up in the scene. I'm like, it's a weird format. Just don't do it. Just do it in real, you can explain it without doing it. Other than that, I think everything was kind of necessary, you know, for everything else in the game.
They did it later. They showed the interview, him watching, or she was watching it, I think.
Yeah.
Whoever was watching it. They could have done it that way, where one of the characters was watching that interview and they would
That would have
zoom
been
right
better.
into it.
Yeah. Instead of the opposite, which is it shows the interview, and what happened was he came home and she's in the corner for some.
Yeah.
I don't.
The
I'm gonna do a.
opposite. We're on the same page, man.
I'm gonna instead of a nitpick, I'm gonna do a quick pick because I usually do nitpicks at the end. But why did she have that interview playing on the YouTube on TV or whatever? Like
to remind them where they came from and what.
How did she know when he was gonna get home though? Like she had it queued up perfectly.
She's a smart woman. Women can be smart.
You're not digging your way out of this one, my friend. It was a little weird. And it's not like he was there. I mean, I get that it's reminding us, and if it was just on, I don't know. We can move past it. But
we're on the same page. They should have done the flip
They should have
side.
done the flip.
You guys are ruining everything. Okay, let's just move on to positivity. Okay, I'm tired of this.
Hey, Sterling.
No.
We're not gonna have a good review. We're gonna have a great review. Woo!
Yeah.
Subscribe, Film Schmucks. So,
that's one of my only negatives. Well, like I think nitpicks. I'll probably maybe have the same nitpicks as you guys, and all. Like I said, I wanted to watch this again to refresh my memory because all I can think about is the good stuff, which is a lot. But I have a few nitpicks. But that was my only big one. Was like the transition to the human world at the beginning. So,
I think that was probably pretty bad. Go ahead, Sterling. I can tell you're itching to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, without spoiling it just yet, I didn't expect the reveal of like, the NPCs and I didn't expect the reveal of Free Guy and how he was basically self-aware in the way they kind of explained how he was self-aware. Yeah. I didn't expect them to kind of go that route.
Me neither.
But I think the way they did it, I think it worked overall. I don't think it was like cheesy. I think it was actually done.
Oh yeah,
done well enough.
Like the explanation of what was going on with the character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was pretty smart. Like it wasn't overall like a smart movie, but like I think
it had some deep moments.
Yeah, like it kind of looked like what could happen in the future, like at the video game level. We're not even talking about like iRobot right now. We're just talking about like a video game, which is kind of cool. No one ever thought of it in that way. I think it's really cool.
Well, and for a movie that, I think that was one of the things that got me over a little bit, maybe about the halfway point of the movie was I thought this was just going to be a cash grab kind of fun run-of-the-mill movie, and I really didn't expect there to be some of the deeper stuff because they really do have some philosophical moments that I just didn't expect. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you can think of when Guy stops at Buddy's apartment and they have that conversation. I was like, that was actually like a really, really cool like conversation they have that I wouldn't have expected from a movie like this, or at least the type of movie I thought it was going to be. So
yeah, there's definitely levels of this. No pun intended. But I guess it is intended. But
levels, Jerry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to continue that a little bit, but I need to be a little bit more spoilerly with my language.
You know what? We're fifth. Let's just spoil it. Who we kidding? Let's do it.
Okay. Come on.
So again, it did surprise me. Kind of the philosophical thing about it's a self-aware AI. It's basically becoming more organic, more real artificial intelligence, and I did not expect a kind of a family movie to touch on that.
Yeah.
And I think even some of the weirder moments they were handled pretty well. Like as far as the kind of the romantic relationship between the girl and Guy. I loved how kind of self-aware they were about how this is really weird.
Yeah.
How she's
there's no button for this.
Which I have a nitpick about that, and I'm just gonna say it right now. By the way, great. I didn't. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without losing all of our fan base. Ryan Reynolds, I think is great. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great actor. I think he's funny. All of that. Yeah. But you guys know the Ryan Reynolds style of humor, the Deadpool humor, his voice and stuff, it bothers me sometimes, okay? Now, here's what I was going to say, though. The movie, like, totally, I ended up thinking, I was afraid that I'd watch this movie, and from the trailer, you know, is that a Glock in your pocket? No, it's my big cock. You know, those kind of jokes. And, but I was like, no, I'm just kidding. But I was like, that's fine. It's a fine joke or whatever. But I was like, is this movie going to be like, is the humor going to be really, like, to me, I'm going to be like, oh, you know, the whole time. It never was. I thought the humor was fine. There was a lot of stuff I wasn't really laughing, but there was a couple of moments that made me laugh. Me and Christy didn't laugh all that much either. But the moment when there's the dramatic kiss with the dramatic music, and then the really hard cut to her just like, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. But she does the joke, you know, oh, he found the button, which was a pretty funny joke. Later, I hate to wreck this whole movie. Get ready, Rotten Tomatoes, to lower that percentage by 10% on this one. Later, I'm just kidding. The girl kisses Guy later. After they establish that there's no thing to do that. This review's over.
Mic drop.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm probably missing something, but I was gonna say, I'm like, they made a point of, and I know they did it just for the joke, the love button or whatever, which was funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a quick pick. That was kind of a long pick. I'm sorry.
No, but you're right. They made it a point to say there's no button for kissing, and then later she does it. Yeah, it's really like, how did that pass through the editing? You know,
Can we talk? Let's get into this.
I love this. I love it.
Is this okay? Well, we need to rise and fall. We had a lot of positive. Let's nitpick. Let's nitpick a little,
Let's
and
do the
then we'll
worm
get
in
back.
here, boys. Come on.
I think there's more good than bad in this movie by far. But let me say this, and this goes into Christy's point that she wanted to make. You have to leave computer knowledge at the theater doors when you walk in, because this movie was one of the most egregious accounts I've seen of like movie stuff, where like people are just going like typing like randomly, and then a bunch of stuff pops up on the screen. There was all kinds of stuff that didn't make any sense, like them like, let me just, now the buildings are forming and moving around. Like, that didn't make any sense. The game, a lot of the game design stuff was like bizarre. Now, I'm okay with it. It's a movie, so check it out the door. But Christy said there was one really egregious offense because it was such a poignant part of the movie, which was Taika Waititi destroying the servers with an axe. And for some reason, the world is just slowly like going apart. And Christy was like, that doesn't make any sense, like at all. Like she was like, I couldn't get over it. And she actually liked that character a lot too, but that was her one thing that her big nitpick. She was like, I got to mention.
Just turn off, like each zone should shut off.
Well, I don't know. I can't remember exactly how she explained it, because, you know, she's done like coding and stuff, like computer science. So she knows all the stuff. So I imagine it's like, you know, being a pilot and watching Top Gun or something. You're like, that's not how you do that. I never had an erection when I was that high in the air, but but anyway, so I'm okay with it. Like I said, cut that out. But
or don't.
I wasn't cut, but that's a circumcision joke, folks.
You don't have to explain it, damn it.
Okay, cut that.
Get that.
Cut the explanation. This is off the rails. This is off the rails.
Bring in the rap. Bring in your snips, bro.
Okay.
No. I get what Christy is saying. I wasn't thinking necessarily about that part, but there was definitely parts of the movie where, like, you know, whenever Keith is weaving and security's, you know, walking him out, and he just has the laptop just barely open. And yet
it says now streaming.
Yeah.
They do that motion against her, like.
He's like that.
That looks so funny.
Now off the walls.
Okay, let's bring it.
Oh, like I get that.
It's okay.
That criticism.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: the tone of the world is done. It's done well enough to the point where you suspend your disbelief for most of the movie.
Exactly.
but you still believe in the characters, and I think that's what makes the movie so enjoyable.
I agree, and also just to say that, to say on top of that with the stuff, it is if it was supposed to be like a very serious, like a Matrix kind of movie, I think those types of things would be way worse because you're supposed to be, this is a serious world. It's basically a comedy kind of action movie, and it's a playful movie, so that's where it's like you can forgive it to some extent. Yeah. What do you guys think of Taika Waititi's character?
Anytime he shows up anywhere, I got a smile on my face. So
And an
I'll
erection.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
Don't have to say that. That's a given.
No, I mean, he is just a joy to watch, even though there were some jokes that didn't land
Right.
Yeah.
for me. He still has such a good like aura about him. Like, you just can't help but watch and just enjoy yourself. So
Yeah.
He's funny. He's funny on like a baseline level because I think it's a combination of he actually has a funny voice, not even just an accent. He actually has kind of a funny voice, and then his accent, and then the way he says stuff. So like there were lines like even when he was being more serious, he must have had like a lot of fun playing this character because just the way he would say stuff when he's like. Like whenever she's like, don't you understand what this means or something? He's like, no, tell me like I'm stupid or whatever. Like the way he would say shit, like in that server room scene was so funny. So even when a joke didn't land, it was never like a oof. It was more like, okay, like it wasn't a big pop, but the way he said it was usually kind of funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also kind of liked I like the actor who plays Keys. He's from Stranger Things.
I did too, actually.
Yeah.
And he's very good. And I think the girl was actually pretty good too.
She
I
was
actually
great.
think, yeah, the way she
I never saw her before.
I'm not sure where she's from.
New, or is she from anything?
She's in some TV shows that I don't remember. No, I think she did a good job playing two different characters, and I don't know. Just overall, there wasn't like a bad performance. I think that helped too.
Yeah.
The fact that there wasn't like a huge distracting performance.
Yeah, I'd say that the friend the guy who worked next to Keys, Taika Waititi's like subordinate. So he was more missed than hit when he was trying to be funny sometimes. And near most of the movie he was fine. The very opening shot where him and Keys are talking, it was a little too much for me. He was like almost trying too hard to be funny, and it was a little bizarre. But other than that, I think like you said, everyone's pretty good. I loved Buddy. I loved that. I can't remember what that guy's name is, but
is he from Get Out?
I think, isn't he a comedian or something? What's his name? Like Lil something, Lil Rel or something?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
But he was funny, and I really liked the relationship because it was just kind of sweet. Like,
yeah, I know. That's what I was gonna say. I really liked it. Yeah.
Um.
I was gonna look up this guy's name.
We got a fourth member.
It was Lil Rel.
What do you think?
Wait, what?
It was Lil Rel is his name. I don't know. I think he's a comedian.
Yeah.
But he was great. He was like maybe my favorite character. Just because his performance was so funny, like the way he would say stuff cracked me up. And like you said, that their relationship was very sweet. Like I really actually was like I thought it was pretty touching.
Yeah.
And kind of going back to the beginning where we were talking about like an evolution of a character, they really portrayed that well with Guy, kind of the beginning of him basically evolving in front of us. Like when he goes to the coffee shop and he's like, cappuccino. Wait, I do black coffee. And then the cop is ready to shoot him. I love the tank in the background starting to turn on him. Like they not used to change. So I thought that was kind of cool seeing the different jumps on the character.
Yeah, some of this movie reminded me of the Truman Show.
Oh
in some
yeah,
ways.
Christy said that too. Yeah.
So
it was like the opposite kind of.
Yeah.
Like if you were putting on a performance but you didn't even know it, kind of thing. That's where it was so interesting. Was it just had a lot of like it had a little more like substance to it than I would have thought.
Yeah, and I think what helped with the whole artificial intelligence thing is that it did feel believable in some ways. I feel like at some point there is going to be a point where artificial intelligence has some kind of sentience in that way. And so I think that kind of helped the believability overall, that in real life we can kind of see kind of the same path that it's taking right now. So
Yeah.
I mean, Elon Musk is ahead of our time, making sure robots aren't too big to take down. So, I mean, we're already.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought the AI stuff. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and like I said earlier, like the conversation he has with Buddy in the apartment, where he's like, "What if someone told you you're fake or whatever?" And he's kind of like, "Well, this is real." Or whatever. It really gets into actually some like the whole movie kind of got into a little bit of like some of that stuff where it's like, well, consciousness and like what really is real. And I think the AI thing's interesting because at a certain point, if you can't tell the difference, then what's the difference? Like you define real as something, but it's like, it's like Morpheus says in the Matrix when he's like, well, what is real? He's like, if it's what you can smell, breathe, hear, taste, feel, then real is just, I'm butchering this, but he says like real is just like electrical things going to your brain or whatever. And it's like, well, and it's this thing where you question like, well, how exactly do you define something as real? And then it kind of makes you think. So I didn't expect this movie to prompt those types of ideas. And that was something that just like, I was not expecting.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean,
go ahead, Trey.
Well, I was just gonna probably go where you're going. Let's talk about these cameos. I had a smile on my face at the very beginning, obviously. Like, I did not expect to see him again, obviously, Channing Tatum. Like, and they're talking over. Yeah, that was cool. So what a great and I think maybe Sterling tried to mention earlier when they went from the character, the video game character players to the real life person. I did like that.
Oh, that was one of the...
And yeah,
there is no God joke. You're 22 living in my house. There is no God was just fun. That was a funny one. Like, that one made me and Christy both laugh. And that guy, that actor is such a funny... Yeah, and the reveal of him being there and like... I actually...
Channing Tatum to him.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Yeah, and tell me if I'm... if you guys thought this or if I'm a big dumb piece of shit. But for some reason, it shows Channing Tatum at the beginning, and then whenever she finds the stash house, because she's trying to find the video, and they keep talking about Antoine or whatever, and then they said he's doing the heist. I don't know why, but I thought that was Antoine's personal character.
Mm-hmm.
And so for some reason, when Channing Tatum comes and goes, "Oh, you're the blue," I actually thought it was Antoine. I don't know why. Like, there's something about, because they said that her video she was finding was in a stash house.
Yeah.
I for some reason thought so that was actually a really funny thing to me. Where when it was the other guy, I was like, oh, I didn't expect that, but it ended up being way funnier. Because I thought there was gonna have to be an Antoine character in the game that fights Guy or whatever, right? Because that just made sense to me. So the fact that he never had a character, so that's why I thought Channing Tatum was going to be that character.
Well, that's what they I thought it was actually like their security system for the game. So it wasn't a real player's place. I just assumed it immediately. I didn't even think about it. So it was a cool kind of misdirect. And for me, I love how when it cuts to him, he's not even excited. He's just eating the Twizzlers. Hey, and it goes back to Tatum just dancing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, to me, that was just pure comedy. Like,
yeah, that was funny.
And he yells at his mom, like you said.
Channing, Channing Tater Tot is getting a little old. Yeah, I haven't seen him in something for a little while, and he had some crow's feet going on, my friends. A little bit of gray I saw on the shaved head.
All right, we don't need to go there. Let's just talk about how funny he was. And,
he is funny. What? What's wrong with aging? What's wrong?
He's more handsome than all three of us combined.
I know he'll be more handsome than all three of us when he's 78. All right, I'm just saying. Yeah. I just hadn't seen him for a while. I'm like, oh man. I always think of him as looking, like 21 Jump Street. I'm like, it's been a decade since that. The guy's getting old.
Hey, he was in the Hateful Eight,
And he has moves. You saw him doing the little flips and stuff. Come on now.
He's trying to be Gambit.
You guys trying to put me on trial here? I think he's hot, all right? Is that what you want me to say? Channing Tatum is hot,
Yes.
all right? But he's getting older.
Thank you.
And that's a reality that we all need to accept, okay?
We're all getting older.
Speaking of references and cameos, this movie further solidified how much Disney owns, because especially the
Is this a
last
Disney
battle.
movie? Oh, it's
Yeah,
Well, now it is.
Fox.
It's
the
still under
20th Century Fox or 20th Century movies now.
studios, whatever that. Yeah.
Studios. Yeah.
Yep.
But no, that last fight between
the dude.
Guy and
Dude.
whatever he didn't even have a
Dude,
name. He was
It's
prototype.
dude. It's dude.
It's
Oh,
dude, bro.
That's right. Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
dude
the prototype guy.
Come on.
Did you watch
Dude,
this movie, bro?
Catchphrase.
That was
Yeah.
dumb, but I still
Well,
chuckled.
you know
It
what was
dumb.
weird?
Yeah.
Now, it's always a little hit and miss with the CGI when they do these things. I thought the CGI looked really good on them putting Ryan Reynolds' face on the guy, except for some reason, the very first shot. I don't know what it was, but I thought the very first shot of him did not look as good as some
it
of the
did
other
not.
shots. I'm like,
It looked bad.
it was weird that the reveal was like worse, because there was some shots from the side and stuff where I'm like, that looks pretty good. But yeah.
Anyway, no, just that last fight, like the Marvel references with the Hulk and the Captain America shield, and of course the lightsaber. That was cool.
Too
That
far.
was
Too far for me.
it was too far.
Well, let me just
Is that
it's a
Tiger
nitpick.
TV? Is that a lightsaber?
Yeah. Well, I thought here's the thing. It was like they did them two back to back. So I thought the Shield and the Marvel Avengers theme was so funny and unexpected, and Chris Evans,
And then Chris Evans.
Chris Evans in the coffee shop going, "What the shit?" or whatever. But
Yeah.
then right after they do basically the same joke where it's the lightsaber and then the music, and I was like, there was something about it being back to back where I was like, okay, that's a little. He could have either done that later, or the music was too much, you know. But it was cool. It was cool. I'm not shitting too hard on it, but you know.
Look, they're showing off. Okay, they're just trying to tell you that
they're flexing. That's
they
Disney flexing.
own everything, and you have to accept what they put out. Like you can't. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I
But
think they
I
own Rotten
digress.
Tomatoes too, because I saw the percentage on this movie and I was kind of shocked. Is
No,
that high?
This guy.
Hey,
No, I don't mean I
I
like it, but I for some reason watched it and expected it to be like 50-60% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well,
and I'm
here's
not a
the
fan of Rotten
thing.
Tomatoes, so
Oh yeah, me neither. But here's
It's
the
just
thing.
aggregate.
Here's the thing, though,
shut the
Sterling
fuck
and
up.
Matt. I mean, yes, yeah.
Sorry.
I told Amanda this. I'm like, I want to go see this again in the theaters. And I haven't said that. I know not many movies has come, but still, it was such an enjoyable movie. I want to go sit my ass in a theater around all these freaks like me in a small theater again. That's how enjoyable it was. So I understand why even the critics were ready for something enjoyable. And, I think they were ready for it.
You also have to realize the criteria of Rotten Tomatoes. It takes like a 7
That's
out of
not
10.
top.
Anyway.
It takes a 6 out of 10. Never, whatever.
Yeah,
Takes a
6.5.
5 out of 10. Okay, I'm just trying to be involved. But
No, I'm just saying to be transparent about it.
what, you work for
Anyway.
him? What do you mean transparent? You got money on it in on him or what?
No, just giving the information for the
'cause
audience to realize.
You have
False
to do it.
information.
If this goes on YouTube, I have to say if there's a paid promotion. So you need to tell me right now, my friend. I could get sued
Okay,
for this.
this is a small tangent because I feel like people get confused about Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes is
We're talking
aggregate.
about Free Guy.
Just because it has a 92% rating
Let him say it.
doesn't mean it's a 9 out of 10 movie. It just means 92% of critics gave it a positive rating.
Which by the way,
means-
means 51%, right?
No, 6.5 out of 10 on average.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So that's the criteria.
I've seen 61%.
So
Whatever.
an above average movie could get like 100% because as long as it's not so bad that it got below 61. Like if every single person gave it a 61%, it would be 100%.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll take this one. Fine, I'll keep it going. There was some jerk off that shouldn't be a critic that gave a movie a negative review, even though his he chose to give it a negative review on Rotten Tomatoes, even though his review of it was positive because he didn't believe it was deserved 100%. So that's why how crappy Rotten Tomatoes.
What a douche.
Yeah.
Well, if you're looking at numbers for a review of anything, then who are we talking to here? That's like a dumb way to review because it's so subjective. That's why I don't get sorry, we're going on another rant, but this is what I don't get. It's like Game Informer or whatever. Like actually, Game Informer does better, but IGN or whatever. It's like. How do you look at a number and go, do I want to see this movie? Oh, it's a 9 out of 10, so I guess I want to see it. That doesn't fucking mean anything. It could be a movie that I'm not into at all, or the things that people like about it could be things you don't care about, or the things that they don't like about it could be things you love. That's why the number system is stupid. If you look at a reviewer the best review you can get is talking to somebody who you know really well who's seen it. Because you know what they like, and if you like it, it could be a movie that has 10% Rotten Tomatoes, and you could love it because you know.
I agree with you, but you're making an argument for what it should be, and the way it is now is Rotten Tomatoes actually it's used as a promotional tool because people do pay attention to it. So.
That's my point. That's my point. I'm not saying what it should be. I'm saying I have a personal problem with you if you are okay with getting ratings of movies based on numbers. It doesn't make any sense.
This is great. This will be a great video to just clip from this
and bonus
and saying why we the three of us hate Rotten Tomatoes.
And then I'll put the little certified fresh on the thumbnail. Anyway, sorry, Trey. We're killing you. We're killing you here. Get back to it.
No, I'm with you guys. I hate. Yeah. Okay. Chris Evans. What a great. I mean, you're right. They're flexing their muscles, saying, "Hey guys, I know you saw 20th Century Studios, which I love. They kept the traditional music in the beginning.
Yeah,
so I love that. I love that.
Gotta.
But then the lightsaber, bring in Chris Evans, gold. And I cannot wait I want Hugh Jackman to see his face, him be the main villain in the second one.
Huge
baby,
Jackman,
they are rolling dice with it, baby. I cannot wait for the sequel. Yeah.
Can I say this? You know what it made me think of with the hammer and the sickle and the shield, the Marvel is. Yeah, sorry, cut that out. Future Matt, cut it. I was just talking to Christy about this. You remember this is another off-topic thing. I'm gonna have to cut half of this video out. But remember the what was it called? Endgame. We saw it together.
Avengers
Endgame. So Avengers Endgame. It's the only, or at least as far as I understand, it's the only Marvel movie that didn't have like a bonus clip at the end, right? To me, there's one thing they could have done is, remember they just acquired 20th Century Fox or whatever? I thought that this would have been the funniest thing because it would be so unexpected or expected, I don't know. Would have been if the end clip of Endgame was Deadpool doing something. You know what I mean? Like Deadpool shows up late to the battle or something. He's like, shit, I missed it. Like that would have been the perfect way to kind of to just go, hey, yeah, we acquired them, but like also it just being the funniest thing. Anyway, that's a non-point, but that's my alternate reality pitch to Disney in the past is like put a funny Deadpool thing at the end of Endgame would have been cool.
It's a what if.
Oh, man.
We're gonna do a bonus episode on that. But after the review.
All right.
So Free Guy thought it was very thought-provoking.
Yeah. Okay. I want to see it. I want to see this again. I'm sorry, Sterling, but boy, was I. Okay, I'm sorry. When in the beginning of the movie, when he wakes up and he does his Ryan Reynolds mannerisms, I'm sorry. I wish Matt hand up to raise to God. I wish you enjoyed Ryan Reynolds movies just as much as I do, because anything he says, I laugh at, like almost anything. Obviously, I'm not,
If he said the Holocaust didn't happen, you probably wouldn't.
Honestly,
he's charismatic. I might laugh a little behind the back.
Yeah,
oh, that's shameful.
You see that? Yeah, so at least I'm glad you see that in him, but like I wish that you like enjoyed the Deadpool movies like
No.
me. Like, 'cause
I
I
think the
love those
Deadpool
movies.
movies are great.
I mean, but I'm just saying, like in general, you say his comedies isn't, as comedic or you don't laugh at it as much.
It's
So
not his cup of tea.
Yeah.
yeah, not your cup of tea. So I wish it was, but anyway, I'm glad you
His
enjoyed
voice
this
is
movie.
annoying to me. Good.
Okay, but anyway, when he wakes up and he does his thing and he says hi to the fish, I was smiling ear to ear. I was in this movie, like, and when he did it again later, when they refreshed him, like I was like, oh, here we go. I love this guy. Like anything he touches is gold. Hugh Jackman and him are best friends. Behind the scenes, and they do this. They have this beef. I want to see Hugh Jackman in the sequel with his face, like I said earlier, as a villain. Like it doesn't need a sequel, but it's gonna get one because it's making Muda.
I know. I hate it.
I know, but but Ryan Reynolds, the second Deadpool, not as good as the first one, but just a hair below. Like to make any sequel as close to as the first one, which is great.
I think I might have liked the second one better.
I'm like I think I know I like this, like I love them both. I'm just saying in general, it's hard to make this.
It's hard to make a good sequel. Yeah.
Back to the Future, my God, like boom, boom, boom,
Perfect.
3 great films, and I got a picture for you.
Planet of the
Oh
Apes.
my God. Oh my God. Anyway, so Planet of the Apes. So I'm just excited.
You fell asleep
that
at
they're-
War of the Planet of the Apes. Don't fucking play with me. I saw you sleep. We went and saw it together.
I'm just,
He slept on this shoulder, right here.
there's still drool stain on one of his shirts.
He remembers it. Ah, what a beautiful memory.
Bro, I'm talking to you.
I literally was like, man, that was a freaking great movie. I turned over Trace Story's like, oh, did the movie end?
I felt like me and you, Sterling, we loved it, and everyone else was like, well, and Sterling, we were having a
Everyone
conversation.
loved it.
Okay, well, after I remember, we were all like, wow, they really, I mean, what a great ending. And I remember Trey being like, yeah, whatever, I fell asleep. Like, he was like, you were almost like pissed off that that you didn't like it. Anyway, this is off the rails. This is crazy.
Ryan Reynolds, pure gold.
I thought he killed. I'll just say it for the fans. I thought he killed it in this movie. I thought this was he was perfect. The Ryan Reynolds, the mannerisms, all the stuff people love or whatever. Perfect for playing an NPC and that type of character. He's supposed to play a happy-go-lucky NPC, and so it was perfect.
This guy.
And honestly, I might take the line, don't have a good day. Have a great
day. Just like we were saying, I did honestly think about Truman Show, just like for a split second. That's a great line.
I
Like
didn't think
at the
about
end of that movie.
It's kind of comparable. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
it's kind of similar.
That's such. Oh man, I hope if they do make a sequel, I hope it's good. I trust Ryan Reynolds. Sean Levy. I mean, the director. I mean, the team he has around him at all times is the last 5, 6, 7 years. Like,
what I like about Ryan Reynolds is he cares about projects that he's doing like this. Like he really cares about them, and like I think that's
not
actually
for a paycheck.
It's pretty rare. Yeah, it's pretty rare. He actually seems like a guy who wants to have fun and wants to make cool stuff, and he's interested in it. And I think I really respect him for that. Should we get into what did you guys think of the overall plot finale and like how things kind of come together in the movie at the end, like the final race, the intensity, all of it?
No, Trey?
I mean, I liked it. I mean, to me, it's hard. Like we were talking earlier, it's really hard to make the audience kind of feel the story of like fake characters of a game.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about when the world's falling apart and they're all in the diner cheering them on, I'm like, there's a little bit of cheese. Like,
Yeah. Well,
I mean, yeah.
I gotta say, there are some cheesy moments in the movie that to me were kind of refreshing in a sense. And what I mean by that is like me and Christy were watching something recently where, characters are in some kind of big action movie where the characters are about to kiss and then right before they kiss something happens. And I was like, I remember that must have been a real original, interesting thing about 20 years ago. And I was like, it's been a while in these types of movies where they try to be genuine. I think because they're so afraid to be cheesy in movies. And we talked about with Suicide Squad, there's a lot of anticlimax because it's too predictable if you do what you expect, like the characters kiss or whatever. I was kind of relieved when Missy and Guy kiss in the movie that they didn't make a joke. Like they actually I mean, they did make a joke, but what I mean is like they actually kissed and they didn't like interrupt them and there wasn't a thing. I was like, oh, that was kind of nice. And there was a lot of moments in the movie where they just weren't afraid to go, fuck it, let's make it a movie and maybe it'll have some cliches or whatever, but like let's not try so hard to be different. Like, so even though there were cheesy moments, I was actually like, kind of like, oh, I feel like I'm at the theaters watching a blockbuster movie that's not trying too hard. It's a movie that seems to care about what it's. Oh,
I liked it. Screw you, Sterling.
Yeah.
Oh,
No. I agree with you. And that kind of relates a little bit to what I said earlier about kind of the love story of this whole thing between Keys and I can't remember her name. What's her name? Missy.
Molotov girl.
Yeah. Even though like it is kind of a paint by numbers kind of romantic aspect of the movie, I don't know, the way it kind of embraced its cheesiness, I think made it for the better. And by the end, I just found it kind of touching that Ryan Reynolds' character was the expression of Key's love for Missy.
Yeah.
And the way it was revealed was very, very sweet. And I like the way they ended the movie too, even though a little nitpick, what are you doing? You're in the middle of traffic. You're going to kiss. It's like, but anyway, the way they cut to the end before they kiss, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Amanda and I thought that when they did that, they were going to get hit by a car or something, like we were expecting it. But you know, obviously they're real characters.
Well,
but when Buddy and him did it, or right, Buddy, the cop partner, I thought for sure they were going to get hit by a car.
I did too. I thought that too. They were going to go into the street and do that. I'm glad they showed, hey, he's okay or whatever, but I also felt like that scene after the kiss and stuff was probably a little unnecessary, a little extra. In fact, I'd say overall the movie might have been a little long for me. I mostly because I went in going, oh, it'll be a relief to watch an hour and a half movie because every fucking movie has to be 2 hours. And then at the end of it, me and Christy were like, was that a 2 hour movie? Why the fuck was this one 2 hours? Like they need to do that with every fucking movie. But
I'll add,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, is there a new thought?
Well, just before we lose it on the kissing and stuff of the thing, I did also think that it was pretty original, the idea that and I thought it was pretty cute, Buddy saying like, I'm a love letter to you, basically. That was actually a good way, because I thought, are they going to do something in real life with that guy and her? And I was like, no, because she's in love with Guy or whatever. And so when they kind of reveal like Guy kind of is an expression from this, all the things she thought she liked about Guy were actually Keys writing it into the code. And so it's like, okay, that was actually a great way to do that, where you didn't feel like, what the fuck? Why is she just going with the other guy? You know, it made it feel like it made it work. And so I thought it was actually clever writing.
Yeah.
It was a good twist on the kind of stereotypical, like, will they, won't they kind of relationship, I felt.
Well,
Yeah.
Not to toot my own horn. I mean, in the middle of the movie, when Guy and the girl are in the game and they go to the bubble gum, and she's like, bubble gum's my favorite, and the character's like, oh, bubble gum, I love bubble gum. I literally leaned over to Amanda, I'm like, he did that for her, the main guy in the movie. I'm like, and she looked at me confused, and at the end, when they all start explaining things, she looked at me like, you called it. I'm like, I know.
You clever son of a bitch.
The swing set stuff, like everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, we knew it halfway in the movie. I'm like, it's
Okay.
you know.
I didn't think about it too much, to be honest. But now in retrospect, yes, I feel kind of dumb. But I think it was cute. I do have a nitpick. This is actually Christy's nitpick, and we actually argued a little bit about it. Although I think she was right when she explained it, which was on the love thing, because she wasn't as into the thing. She's like, whatever. And I was like, oh, that was pretty cute. Whatever. But here's why. And she actually pretty good thing. She was saying he sends her the video. look, here's the thing. I'm showing you, you know, if you look at the code on Guy, he became this way because I programmed, and I thought, why not program him like the person who's next to me? You know, not it's kind of cute, but it's not very revealing. And then the video, everything powers off, or she clicks out of it or whatever. And then later we realize the rest of the video, he basically is like, you know, bubblegum swing sets. It was all you, baby doll. You know, like, and then Christy was like, she just didn't watch the full video earlier. That's the only reason she didn't see that at the end.
Okay, was that the nitpick?
I think so.
I have one too.
Go ahead.
It's the same similar nitpick, but for me, I thought it was kind of. I know it's a movie. You have to kind of push the story. You got to add to the story to build up even more. How did she not know? Like when those 2, 3, 4 things that guy was like that she loved. How did she not know? Oh my God, he put this in the game for me.
That's
like,
a good point.
How did she not? How did she not
like,
realize?
This is weird.
Yeah, like wait, who's the? He's the only one that knows this stuff. He's the only friend I've ever told this stuff to.
Because they.
That's my nitpick for the movie right there. Like, how does she not know?
That's
like,
true.
What?
That's true. I also have a technology nitpick here.
You and Christy about technology.
No, this is my own. This is my own personal one.
Bar.
This is my own personal one. I forgot. I even forgot to mention this to Christy was when she's talking to Hugh Jackman or whoever whoever you think the guy that might have been Hugh Jackman. We don't know. I guess was in the alley. Potentially Hugh Jackman. He's like, "That's a nice accent you got. Are you using an accent filter?" And at the moment I was like, this guy's on drugs. What the fuck is he talking about? Accent filter? That doesn't make any sense. And then later, she's talking to him, and he's like, Ryan Reynolds is like, what happened to your voice or whatever? And she's like, I turned off the accent filter. I'm like, what does that mean? What? I'm like, I understand a voice changer, right? You make your voice sound low or deep. Accent changer? That doesn't make any sense. You just do a voice. I mean, you just do the accent. It's not a technology that you can change.
It's the future, baby. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. They got AI and everything. So who am I kidding? But I thought
let's end on a positive note. How about that?
Yeah, let's go on a positive note.
Well, I will say this. Continuing what we were talking about with the stuff, the part that honestly was got me a little bit, where I was like, this is kind of sweet and emotional. I think because I liked the character so much, actually was when Buddy and Guy are running across the bridge or whatever, and Buddy. Don't roll your eyes at me, you sick sack of shit. It was Trey. No, it was Trey. I saw you roll your eyes.
I was thinking about the scene.
Play back the tape.
I was thinking about the scene, so if I did, I apologize.
Okay, sorry.
It's stupid. Is there no nitpick? Because I don't want to take your nitpick.
He was falling asleep.
No, it's not a nitpick. I'm actually gonna. Okay. I was gonna say.
The bridge starts slowing down for them.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. That's the same thing as Suicide Squad when it's like, why do they assume and that they're gonna be abandoning orders just for walking 5 feet in a different direction? So, but yeah, the movie, the bridge, the whole thing is like right behind them. Wait, we gotta have a conversation. Slow it down, boys. Yeah, it didn't make sense. But that aside, the conversation they have there where Buddy is like, this is the best day of my life, and he's all happy as he's like going away. Honestly, that got me a little bit. I was like, oh, that was pretty touching. That was probably the scene that got me the most, because I love the characters and I love their relationship. So
just to piggyback on you, just like with Rogue Player Ready 1, my God.
Sorry, go ahead.
My goodness, like we were talking earlier, they went to the actual humans playing the game and the little kids cursing, which is funny.
Oh, shit,
you know. So no, when he jumps into the new world in like Ready Player One, they show the crowd, you know, the whole crowd cheering. And the crowd, like in the beginning of that movie, everybody helping, you know, like I like that, like it pumps you up.
No, I do
too,
know? And I think that's the type of stuff that usually is considered cliche or whatever. I like a culminating moment. Like I love it that the whole world is watching this guy. Like I mean, look, maybe it's cliche or cheesy or whatever. To me, I'm like, I liked it. I was enjoying it. It was getting me pumped up. And my dick.
I laughed at a dude being with the crowd too, with the glasses.
I know, that was funny. I have sorry.
Oh, I just want to say the guy holding up his hands, and he has trouble like putting his hands down.
That was a funny. That reminded me of something from that well, now I don't know if you guys have watched it, but there's that sketch show, Tim Robinson, I Think You Should Leave or whatever. It was something like, it was like a kind of comedy that like, it just like was, I didn't expect, but was really funny when he just couldn't put it down. And then when he finally does at the end, and he does the little, that was funny. Sorry, I'll let you end it. I'll let you guys do a positive. I do want to say one more nitpick because it was important. I'm sorry. It was important to me. The one thing about this movie that I thought was the biggest thing that was taking me out of it a lot. I feel like this movie, and I know I say this about every movie we watch, I feel like this movie should have came out 10 years ago as far as the gamer culture stuff that they do. Now, look, maybe I'm not a 13-year-old gamer girl, and I don't know what's up. But, I mean, they were doing stuff that would be a joke, like that you would make fun of. Like, they used the term noob, like, several times, and I'm like, I have not heard someone say noob in gaming unironically for probably the last 10 years. And so it's really weird in movies where they're like, clearly none of like Ryan Reynolds and them are not like, don't know whoever's writing it, like clearly like isn't super in touch with what gamers are doing. So they're like, and I'm not a big gamer either, but I'm just saying like when they do the stuff like, you know, like let's boot this noob and shit like that, and I'm like, oh, it's like cringy because it's like no one says that. No one's saying that shit. And then to add to that,
hey, keep it coming, Sterling.
no, well, that's the gist of it. Was I thought the lingo. Oh, the other thing that I didn't really care for was like it felt like Hello Fellow Kids kind of thing when they kept trying to show like Jacksepticeye and Ninja and stuff. I'm like, is this movie's not for like 10-year-olds, is it? Like, why do we give a shit about these like Pokemon and shit?
Okay, but here's the thing.
No one's gonna know who they are in 15 years.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is at the time they're very popular on Twitch, and Twitch is basically the most popular video game streamer platform.
I get it, and I was accepting it as being like a new form of media. You see these types of things in movies a lot, where it'll be like Conan being like, you know, Deadpool robbed a jewelry shop or whatever, you know, and it's like, so I accept it as being like, okay, it's a new media. Now, but I did feel like it just felt a little bit to me where they're like, what a bunch of old people in a room think gamers are into, as opposed to actually feeling in touch. But
yeah, I'll agree with you on the noob, and some of the terminology that they used was definitely kind of outdated. But if I had to take myself out of it for a little bit, because I'm not a fan of Jacksepticeye or Ninja, but I do know they're very popular. Both of them are very popular.
I know they're very popular with 13-year-olds, which I guess. But then it's like, is this who's? I get it. I'll leave it alone. I know, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. And like I said, I'm not. I think it was really the lingo thing that was more like a little bit weird. And to say, and then to say on a high note, speaking of cameos and stuff, we forgot one. This might have been Alex Trebek's last cameo, because they had a moment in the movie where they go. Character in it's Jeopardy, and it's like character, you know, in a blue shirt from a game or whatever, and it was Alex Trebek said a kind of a funny line. I'm like, they must have filmed that right before the guy died.
That's great. Yeah, I didn't think of that at all.
I got kind of sad.
So. Yeah, and it was a really fun. That was my favorite part of that montage. We got to cut that out. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't put two and two together in the movie.
There's a tone to your voice, Jay, where it sounded like you were kind of like glad, or like almost like you were like, you know, like, cause kind of like a tone like, I forgot he died, and you know what? I don't care. Like, no, but shout out to Alex Trebek. I thought it was a very funny moment, and it was because of the way he delivered it. So I gotta give a big
shout out to his family. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, cut all of that because that's in poor taste. Can we please just finish?
I was trying to give him an homage. Like, honestly, I was mentioning because I thought it was a very funny moment.
And you guys made me look like an a-hole.
I know, but I could edit it to make you look like an asshole.
It's in the beginning, not have it in the video.
That'll be the intro.
Yes.
Like, man, Alex Trebek cameo, that was very sad. And then you go, I don't even know he died. Tonight, film schmucks.
Dude, there's a lot of clips from our past episodes where you could just make a compilation of Matt out of context or Sterling out of context or Trey out of
Oh my
context.
god. I'm afraid that I will in the future get canceled for some of the stuff I say in jest. Because if NBC News or someone or the Wall Street Journal just took out of context clips from the show, I would not be good for me.
I'm sorry for the edit. This is gonna be a nightmare, but these are kind of scenes you could put on your TikTok, like 5-second scenes.
Oh, for sure. This episode is littered with funny moments. Okay.
Oh
All
my
right.
God.
Should we? Sorry.
Sorry,
Sterling.
R.I.P. Alex Trebek.
What? You can't even get through without laughing. The man is dead. My God.
Sterling, he already reacted before I could even say anything nice for the guy.
We'll keep a straight face and you say it again. But you have to say it again though, okay? No one can laugh because I gotta have an edit of this that will actually not offend people. So just for the editing purposes.
Okay. Anyway, Alex Trebek, R.I.P. Like I said, I mean, like you said, it was a great cameo that I didn't even think two things of it. I thought it was funny. I chuckled. So, I mean, this movie. I'll just start. Are you serious? I should not have looked at you.
Sorry. I think I covered it. Go ahead. I think I can make that work.
Okay. So, you want me guys to go first for the ending? Because I think
sure. Yeah.
we covered a lot of bases. You guys can add something in with you and I can rebuttal. But anyway, I love this movie. Yes, we had some nitpicks. You had some nitpicks that I forgot about. Like I said, I want to see a second or third time in theaters. Like this was a enjoyable, entertaining film. And yeah, it wasn't 2 hours, but it felt lengthy. And you know what? I don't mind that because the sun's still out. I like that. I like it feeling longer than it was. So, man, Ryan Reynolds, he touches charcoal, it turns into gold. I know they say diamonds, but who are we to say? But I love this movie so much. Like, God, cameo galore. Dude's great. Taiki with TD, anything he does is hilarious. I mean, bring me on a sequel because there's gonna be one. Give Ryan Reynolds free reign like you're gonna give for him for Deadpool 3. Let him have fun because this guy is having fun. Everybody on set has having fun. You can see it in the movie itself. Like, I love it when you can watch a film and see how much fun the actual human beings playing these characters are having because it makes it more enjoyable for the audience. So, love this movie. Top notch.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really had a good time watching this. This was definitely one of my better theater experiences in the last couple of years. And I think a lot of that has to do with how well just the humor was executed, how well the tone was executed, and it was nice to have some kind of deeper themes for a family kids movie. And so pleasantly surprised overall when it came to that. And I think everyone should at least give this at least one viewing, and I think you'll have a great time watching it.
I kind of second what you guys are saying, and what I would really say, because I'm kind of speaking to my past self on this, is like, as far as like blockbuster kind of fun movies, a lot of those can be not the greatest movies. They're just trying to sell money. They sell a name. It's Ryan Reynolds, let's go watch it. I think this one was way above the cut on like a summer blockbuster, and that. I went in expecting it to be mediocre or hating it, and I ended up going, oh, that was, like Sterling said, surprising in a lot of areas for me. I think it is just a fun movie. I think it's actually a good family movie. To me, it's like, I think usually sometimes I'll say on these movies, I would have really loved it when I was 13, and now, it's okay or whatever. I think this is a good movie where it's like, I would have really liked it when I was 13 and I like it now. Not my favorite movie, that I've seen in a while, but I think for a summer blockbuster, it's worth it. It's worth the price of admission, people. I'll say that. So for once, the film schmucks mostly agree. You want
That's rare.
you want you want to close us out on this one,
Yeah, I
my
mean,
friend?
thanks for yeah. I mean, we're glad to be back. It feels this felt even more comfortable talking about movies again after a big break. Thank you for following us. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below. ABIJ, nostalgia's real. Where are you guys at? What's going on? We'll see you next time on the Film Schmucks.
Cut
Cut.
it.